Welcome back, everyone. Ready to dive into a topic that's changing the world as we speak. Today, we're talking AI in finance, and let me tell you, it's way more exciting than balancing your checkbook. Seriously, imagine this. You're just waking up, maybe grabbing your coffee, and your own personal AI bot is already hard at work. It's finding you the best investments, spotting risks you'd never even think of, and might even be negotiating a lower rate on that car insurance you've been meaning to look into. Sounds pretty futuristic, right? Well, hold on to your hats because the future is closer than you think. We're going deep on a report from Citi called AI in Finance, Bot, Bank, and Beyond. These guys really did their homework, talked to the experts, crunched all the data, and they've laid out just how much AI is already transforming how we deal with money. So we'll cover it all today, from how fast AI is growing to these mind-blowing financial bots. And of course, the big question, how do we make sure AI in finance helps everyone, not just the Wall Street bigwigs? First things first, this report makes one thing crystal clear. AI is not some fad. It's like a tidal wave hitting the finance world.
It's incredible. Even just looking at how much financial institutions are talking about AI, they can't stop mentioning it. And it's not just empty talk. Look at figure 1 in the report. The trend is impossible to ignore.
It's like everyone suddenly realized that AI is the key to unlocking this whole new level of financial power. But what's really driving this frenzy?
The game changer here is generative AI, or Gen AI. Think of it like AI on steroids. It can look at all this data that used to be impossible to really use, like emails, transcripts, all those long research reports you and I try to avoid. All of that used to be a gold mine, but too hard to process.
Wait, so you're saying AI can actually understand what we're saying, not just numbers, but like the meaning of our communication? That's like having a financial advisor who's read every email you've ever sent
Yeah.
and actually gets what you're hoping for financially.
Exactly. And because of that, 93% of financial institutions in Citi's survey believe AI is going to seriously boost their profits by 2028. They see it as the secret weapon to doing everything better, from investments to managing risk.
Okay, so it's clear AI is set to turn the finance world upside down. But how exactly will it change things?
Well, imagine all the different tasks in finance. Some can be automated easily, others need a human to think things through. AI is changing that whole spectrum.
So at one end, you have things like coding and software. AI can help developers write code faster and better, which could save financial institutions billions every year.
Exactly. Then you have things like monitoring transactions and making sure everything's legal. AI can be like a super-powered watchdog, instantly analyzing tons of data to catch anything fishy. It's like a fraud detection system on steroids.
That's a relief for anyone who's ever had their credit card info stolen.
Absolutely. Then there's customer service, where those AI chatbots are already popping up everywhere, answering questions, fixing simple problems, even giving personalized advice, all without making you wait on hold forever.
Now that's what I call progress. No more fighting with those automated phone menus. Sign me up. But what about the more complicated stuff, like getting a loan or investing in the stock market?
AI's transforming those too. For loans, AI can look at mountains of data and figure out if someone's a good risk much faster and more accurately. Imagine applying for a loan and getting an answer instantly.
So loans could be approved much quicker. That's huge for small businesses or anyone who needs cash fast.
Exactly. And then there's investment research. AI can sort through tons of data, figure out market trends, even write reports. It's like having a team of experts working for you 24/7 to find the best opportunities.
Wow. It's starting to sound like AI can do almost anything in finance. Is there anything it can't do?
Well, there are still some things where humans are better, but the line's getting blurry. And this report gives some great examples of how AI is already changing finance in the real world.
All right, give us the inside scoop. What are some companies doing that's really cool with AI in finance?
MasterCard, for one. They made this new AI tool that could cut down false positives in fraud detection by something like 85%. You know how annoying it is to have your card declined when you know you have the money? AI could basically make that a thing of the past.
Less frustration and fewer scams. I like the sound of that. What else?
Another great one is AXA, the insurance company. They're using AI to understand risk better, which has actually led to lower prices for some customers. So AI isn't just about efficiency, it can actually save you money.
Okay, I'm definitely intrigued. But here's where things get really interesting. The report talks about these things called financial bots, personalized AI assistants that basically manage your money for you. It's like having your own personal financial advisor, but without the crazy fees.
It might sound like something out of a movie, but the technology is already here. Imagine AI bots paying your bills on time, figuring out the best budget for you, even moving your money to accounts with better interest rates.
So are you saying we might not even need banks anymore? Will our AI overlords be in charge of all our money?
Well, I think banks will adapt, but these bots are definitely connected to something called tokenized money becoming more important. Things like crypto, stable coins, even those central bank digital currencies or CBDCs that everyone's talking about.
Okay, I'm going to need you to break that down for me. What exactly is tokenized money? And how does it fit into this world where bots are managing our finances?
Think of it like digital cash, but supercharged. It's programmable, you can track it, and you can send it anywhere instantly. Perfect for a world where AI bots are making financial decisions for us, moving digital money around at lightning speed.
Okay, my mind is officially blown. This is like something straight out of science fiction. But as exciting as all this sounds, we have to talk about the risks. Every cool new technology has a dark side, right?
You're absolutely right. And when it comes to AI, there are some serious risks we need to be aware of. This report doesn't shy away from the potential downsides, and they're not for the faint of heart.
All right, let's get into it. What are some of the biggest worries?
One of the biggest is transparency. Some AI systems are so complicated that we don't even know how they make decisions. It's this black box problem that makes it hard to trust AI and hold it accountable.
So if an AI says you can't get a loan, you might not even know why. That's kind of scary.
It is. And then there's the question of control. What if a handful of powerful companies control all the AI technology? That creates a dangerous situation where everything could go wrong and only a few people benefit.
Right. We don't want AI to create a financial system where only the elite have access to the benefits.
Yeah.
Everyone should have a chance to succeed in this new world.
Exactly. And then there's the environmental impact. Training these huge AI systems takes a massive amount of computing power, which uses a ton of energy. We need to think about how sustainable AI is as it keeps growing.
So AI in finance is a double-edged sword. Huge potential, but some serious risks too. The question is, how do we handle all of this?
Well, that's where regulation comes in. And thankfully, the report doesn't leave us hanging. It dives into the complex world of AI regulation and how different countries are trying to deal with this rapidly changing landscape.
Okay, let's untangle this regulatory mess. Who's leading the way, and what are the biggest challenges they're facing?
Well, the European Union is going all in with their AI Act. They're trying to categorize AI systems based on how risky they are, basically saying not all AI is created equal. And the riskier ones need to be regulated more tightly.
So they're trying to walk that fine line between encouraging innovation and making sure people are protected. Makes sense. What about the U.S.?
The U.S. is focusing more on regulations we already have and put out an executive order about AI safety and security. They're taking a less strict approach than the EU, relying on agencies like the CFPB to deal with things like discrimination and bias in AI.
So it's kind of a mixed bag globally with different regions taking different approaches. But are there any common themes across all these regulatory efforts?
Definitely. Transparency, preventing bias, and holding AI accountable are key themes everywhere. It seems like the world is realizing we need to keep AI in check.
It's a global conversation, and it's only going to get louder as AI becomes a bigger part of our lives. But we've covered a lot of ground already, and I don't want to overload everyone. Let's take a break here and pick up this conversation in part 2 of our deep dives into AI in finance.
Welcome back to our deep dive into AI in finance. Last time we were talking about how AI could completely change things like fraud detection and even investment research.
Yeah, and we started to untangle that whole world of AI regulation. It seems like every country is trying to figure out how to balance the amazing potential of AI with protecting people and making sure things are fair.
It's a tough balancing act, but one thing's for sure, transparency is becoming non-negotiable. Regulators everywhere want to make sure we can actually understand how AI systems make decisions.
Makes sense. If some AI is deciding if you get a loan or how much you pay for insurance, you'd want to know how it came to that decision. You don't want to feel like some mysterious algorithm is controlling your life.
Exactly. And along with transparency comes the need to fight bias. Regulators are really focused on making sure AI systems aren't discriminating unfairly. They're pushing for diverse data sets and rigorous testing to spot and fix any potential biases.
So it's all about having checks and balances. So AI helps everyone, not just a select few. But how do we actually put these safeguards in place? Is it even possible to create AI that's completely unbiased?
It's definitely a challenge. AI algorithms learn from data, and if that data reflects existing societal biases, the algorithms will just keep those biases going. It's like teaching a kid bad habits they're hard to break.
So garbage in, garbage out, right?
Yeah.
But what about the human side of things? Can't we rely on humans to oversee AI and make sure it's being used responsibly?
Human oversight is absolutely crucial, and that's another big theme in AI regulation. Regulators realize that even though AI can automate lots of tasks, human judgment is still super important, especially when it comes to something as important as finance.
It's like having a safety net. AI can do the heavy lifting, but there's always a human there to double check and make sure everything's on the up and up.
Exactly. It's not about AI taking over completely. It's about finding the right balance between human and machine intelligence.
So like a partnership between AI and humans.
I like that. An AI-human partnership.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, AI is a tool. And like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad. It's up to us to make sure it's used responsibly.
This brings us back to those potential dangers we talked about before. The report didn't sugarcoat the risks, especially when it comes to things like deepfakes and the metaverse.
And it shouldn't. Deepfakes especially are a serious threat to finance.
I can see why. The report highlighted how easy it's becoming to create these super realistic but completely fake images, videos, and even audio recordings. Imagine someone making a deepfake video of a CEO announcing a fake merger to manipulate the stock market, or using a voice clone to trick someone into authorizing a fraudulent transaction.
Yeah, those scenarios aren't just science fiction anymore. They're becoming more and more real. And as the technology gets better, it's going to be even harder to tell what's real and what's fake.
It is a little unsettling to think about. So
Yeah.
what can we do to protect ourselves from these AI-powered scams?
Well, the first step is awareness. The more we know about deepfakes and other AI scams, the better we'll be at spotting them.
Right? It's all about being a smart consumer and not believing everything you see or hear. But are there any tech solutions in the works?
Absolutely. The same AI that can be used to create deepfakes can also be used to detect them. Researchers are developing algorithms that can look at videos and audio recordings for signs that they've been manipulated.
So it's like an AI arms race. Good AI versus bad AI.
In a way, yes, and that's why investing in AI research is so important. We need to stay ahead of the game if we want to use AI for good and minimize the risks.
Okay, so we've got the deepfake problem on our radar. But the report also talked about another interesting and maybe a little mind-boggling concept, the metaverse. I hear that word everywhere, but I'm not sure I really get what it is or how it relates to finance.
It's definitely still evolving, but think of the metaverse as a persistent, shared 3D virtual world. It's kind of like stepping into a video game, but with real-world consequences.
Okay, I'm starting to picture it. But how does finance work in this virtual world?
The metaverse has the potential to change how we interact with money completely. Think about virtual real estate deals, decentralized finance platforms, and even new types of digital assets that only exist in the metaverse. It's a whole new financial system waiting to be explored.
It sounds both exciting and a little terrifying at the same time.
It is both, for sure. The metaverse is mostly unregulated, which makes it attractive to scammers. And because it's so immersive, it could be easier for people to fall for phishing scams or other tricks. It's like the Wild West of finance.
Yikes, I can see why that would be a concern. So is the metaverse just a playground for scammers? Or is there real potential for positive financial innovation?
There's definitely potential for both. The metaverse could create opportunities for financial inclusion, allowing people from all over the world to participate in a global economy without the usual barriers.
So it could level the playing field in a way that traditional finance hasn't been able to. That's a pretty powerful idea.
It is, but we need to be careful and thoughtful about how we approach the metaverse. We need safeguards and regulations that protect consumers while still letting innovation thrive.
Right, it's all about finding that balance between progress and responsibility. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. We've covered the regulatory landscape, the deepfake dilemma, and even dipped our toes into the metaverse. I'm sensing a theme here. AI in finance is a complex thing with incredible potential and some serious risks.
You're right on the money. And as we keep digging into this topic, it's clear that responsible AI development is not just a nice to have. It's essential. We can't just embrace the shiny new tech without thinking about the possible consequences.
Absolutely. We need to have a thoughtful conversation, acknowledging both the opportunities and the challenges AI brings.
Exactly. And that's the conversation we'll continue in the final part of our AI and finance deep dive. We'll explore the ethical considerations, the role of human judgment, and what steps we can take to make sure AI in finance truly benefits everyone.
Sounds like a conversation we won't want to miss. Welcome back for the final part of our deep dive into AI and finance. We've talked about how AI could revolutionize everything, from personalized bots to the metaverse.
It's been a whirlwind, right? And through it all, we keep coming back to this one crucial question. How do we make sure AI in finance helps everyone, not just a select few?
It's the question, isn't it? Especially when you consider how massive the financial industry is. We've talked about the potential for a more efficient, inclusive system, but there are also some serious risks.
Right. And that's why the City report, AI in Finance, Bot, Bank and Beyond, really stresses responsible development. It's not just about building the most powerful AI, it's about AI that aligns with our values and serves the greater good.
So it's not just about AI that can make super fast trades or analyze tons of data.
Yeah.
It has to be ethical and responsible.
Exactly. The report highlights a few key principles for responsible AI: fairness, transparency, accountability, and human oversight. And we're seeing these ideas gain traction globally, especially in regulations.
Right, it seems like regulators everywhere are realizing that AI is powerful and needs careful handling, finding that balance between encouraging innovation and protecting people.
It's a tough balance, but the report suggests that responsible AI isn't just about following the rules. It can actually make companies more competitive.
So companies that do things the right way might have an advantage.
That's the thinking. Consumers are more aware of the risks of AI, so they'll probably choose companies that are open about how they use AI and are taking steps to ensure fairness and accountability.
It makes sense. You want to trust the companies handling your money.
Absolutely. Responsible AI development can also help companies avoid problems and build stronger systems. For example, if you're making an AI-powered loan platform, addressing potential biases can actually make your loan decisions more accurate.
So it's a win-win. Better for consumers and better for business.
Exactly. And the report also talks about how important collaboration is. Governments, industry leaders, researchers, everyone needs to work together to tackle the challenges of responsible AI.
It's a global issue that needs global solutions. We're all in this together, trying to figure out how to navigate this new world.
We are. And as we wrap up, I think it's important to remember that AI in finance is still evolving. The technology is changing fast, and we're still learning about its potential and its dangers.
It's like we're at the very beginning of something huge, and we have a chance to shape the future of AI in a way that benefits everyone.
It's a powerful thought. And that brings us to the final thought-provoking question from the report. It's a question we should all ask ourselves. How can we ensure that AI in finance serves the common good?
A question worth thinking about for sure. As we move forward in this exciting but complex landscape, we need to be aware of the risks, but also embrace the potential of AI to create a fairer and more inclusive financial system.
Well said. I think that brings our deep dive to a close. I hope you found this exploration of AI in finance as fascinating as I have.
It's certainly been a journey. A huge thank you to our expert for guiding us through this topic. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you've gained some valuable insights and something to think about. Until next time, stay curious.